Hello, everybody. Welcome to Tuesday. The S&P 500 was up 0.4% today. We actually went right back to where we started yesterday, so we gained back what we lost. And kind of surprising because there was some potential volatility at the beginning. The futures market was down and what have you, but just revolving around the fact that, President Trump had fired one of the Fed governors. Still yet to be seen if that can actually be done, probably be resolved in the courts. No other president has done that in the past, so we don't have any examples for that. And really, the market's kind of looking at things as, you'd think it'd be looking at the Fed independence being important, but it kind of shrugged that off. Where we did see the action for that was really the dollar falling a bit and the long-term, like 30-year Treasury also falling. So there's some indications that there might be some concerns there, just trying to keep that independence out there. But I do think the bigger concern that the market has at this point in time has to be NVIDIA. So they're going to do their earnings report here. And what's important about NVIDIA, of course, is there's a leading aspect of the artificial intelligence piece. And I'd say, if you take away artificial intelligence with all the other things that we have going on, the kind of teeter-totter of, good things being artificial intelligence, lower interest rates potentially in September, lower regulations coming at us, and the bad things being maybe tariffs and deportations and, those types of things. If you look at that, that AI piece is what's probably driving the market the most. And so, do they still see that? Do they still see growth from NVIDIA? I'm sure their numbers will be great, but the expectations have been ratcheting up higher and higher every single quarter. And what do they have to say about future as far as that goes? Because one of the things that is happening is that there's, these massive amounts of capital being spent on these data centers, but there's starting to become some questions about, by the time they build these data centers, because it takes a while, are they up to speed? How much more capital is going to have to be pushed into those things to keep them from becoming obsolete? Again, in a way, if that works, NVIDIA does great, but these companies have to make money off of AI. And so if you look at the stats right now, so far, 95% of the companies in these projects aren't making any money, any net money. So you're not going to go out and continuously push huge amounts of money into these data centers if you're not making money off of AI. So, we have to figure out how to monetize it. That was similar to the beginning of the dot-com phase. I remember, Google coming out and people like, well, they're not making money, and then Facebook didn't make money. Everybody was just trying to get eyeballs, and then they figured out how to monetize it. I would assume we're in a similar situation to that, but it does have to start to happen at some point. There has to be some money made in order for this to work. So I think that's where we'll see kind of the most of the action for this week is really around NVIDIA, and because they're going to tell us what's happening in that market from their perspective and what have you too. So anyway, look forward to being able to see what's going to happen tomorrow, and we'll talk to you then. Thank you.